In this video, we're going to be exploring what is called the Lunge Matrix. Kudos to Gary Gray with the Gray Institute, kind of the godfather of three-dimensional movement in regards to fitness, because this is a brainchild that he's developed over time. I love it, especially being a kind of a gait expert, I guess you would say, where I really look at how the human body moves as it relates to walking. These movements are very much exaggerations of a lot of gait mechanics. So they're great for awakening areas that may lie dormant in your body because maybe you don't move so well in one direction or another. So with this lunge matrix, we're going to be exploring three-dimensional space, forward and backward action, side to side, lateral motion, as well as rotational action to the left and to the right. These, in the world of fitness, we refer to as the three planes of motion. Sagittal plane being forward and backward, frontal plane moving laterally, and transverse plane moving in a rotational fashion. I can get different areas of my body to move in different planes of motion depending upon my goal or desire. And in so doing, we will get the body to experience a number of ways in which to move. And that's the brilliance of the lunge matrix. So the lunging itself will keep to very common steps. In fact, we'll call it the common lunge matrix, which is stepping forward away from my starting point and then returning, stepping off to the same side with that stepping leg compared to coming across to the opposite side, or taking this leg and stepping back and around to the same side. So we're just going to use those three stepping actions, moving forward, driving back, moving laterally, returning to center, rotating to the right, and having to rotate back to the left in order to get back to the starting point. Meanwhile, as I'm going to explore these movements, we can think about what that's asking the hips and different joints of the body to do. In particular, the hip is being asked to extend on the back leg as I step forward while flexing into the forward hip. As I travel off to one side, I'm abducting and moving away from the trailing leg while I'm adducting and moving toward the stepping leg. And then as I rotate around, I'm going to internally rotate toward the leg I'm stepping while externally rotating the hip away from the leg I'm leaving behind. So now we've got flexion, extension, abduction, adduction, internal and external rotation. Very common movements that the hips should be responsible for. And the muscles that maintain that responsibility are going to have to lengthen and shorten. So now can we add upper body action to just make a little bit more complex movement? And those actions are going to be very similar to what we just did with our legs. For instance, in the sagittal plane, we can reach forward as well as reaching back. We can reach off to one side or off to the other, and we can rotate to the right and to the left. So I can do all 6 of those movements while only stepping forward and backwards. So now I've got 6 different actions to feed into my body to stimulate the muscles and the joints and to understand in terms of neuromuscular connection what my body should really be doing. So I'm going to do each leg stepping forward in an alternating fashion for maybe a couple of repetitions each. I'll be doing a reaching action followed by a reaching backward action, a lateral motion to one side, lateral to the opposite, rotating one direction, rotating the opposite. So with the forward lunge and a forward reach, 2 steps each leg. From a profile, you can see that I'm encouraging my back leg to stay extended while flexing into the forward leg. Then I'm going to do a backward reach, still stepping forward. So into that forward lunge, I reach back. Other leg, reaching back. And each of these motions are going to ask a little bit more in some areas than others. It'll give you a different variation of movement in the same joints. Let's do the same forward action, but now reaching off to one side and off to the other side. So in this particular motion, I'm reaching across to the stepping side. Now I'll do just the opposite. Stepping with my right leg forward, I'll side bend left. Step with the left leg, side bend right. One more time, stepping with the left foot, side bend to the right. There you go. These are now a whole bunch of movements. Just by stepping forward and backwards, we still have rotation to go. So as I step forward with my right leg, I'll take my arms to the right. Step with the left leg, take the arms left. Of course, we can use resistance bands or other actions, but for right now, we're just getting the body to get used to these movements, because it could actually also be used as a way of mobilizing or encouraging mobility into some joints that may be restricted. Now, I rotated toward the side I was stepping, but I can also rotate away from that side. So stepping with the left, arms go right. Stepping with the right, arms go left. So these upper body patterns, forward, backward, side, side, rotate left and right, can be done in each of these stepping actions. So for the lateral lunge, I'm just going to step over, reach forward. Step to the other side, reach forward. 2 times each side. That's going to be followed by reaching back, stepping from one side to the other. Lateral reaching. To the same side I'm stepping, a couple times each, and then side bending away from the side I'm stepping. Then we have rotation, where I can rotate to the side I'm stepping, and of course I can begin rotating away from the direction that I'm stepping. Now the rotational step, where I'm going to step around to one side and then to the other, I will start with the forward reach, rotating over to the right but reaching forward, rotate left, reach forward. Or rotate and reach back. Rotate, reach back. Then I have the lateral action. So I rotate, side bend in the same direction. And then side bend in the opposite direction. And lastly, rotating the upper body while I'm rotating through those lunges. In the same direction. Or, of course, opposite. Now this may look reminiscent of maybe martial arts, but you might look closer and find out these are some of the actions a basketball player might be going through on a court, or maybe a soccer player on a pitch, or for that matter, we might see these joint actions occur in just about every sport and activity in life. So doing the lunge matrix and encouraging an exploration of the upper body in conjunction with the legs moving in three-dimensional space is an amazing way of waking up the body. Give it a shot. See how that feels.